Hi guys. I went to a spiritual class last night, and I know everyone's so excited to hear all about it. It was awesome. It was at the Turning Wheel in, I think technically it's in Baltimore, but it's right by White Marsh, right off 95 and or 695, but I use 95. I was, I don't know what I was expecting because the other classes that I had taken, I had heard, I don't want to say disparaging, but not necessarily good things. But for whatever reason, I had, yesterday without the kids, and I usually try and do one thing. And because the kids are coming home tonight, yes, early, yes. I was like, I'm either going to go take a jujitsu class or, I'll call and see. And I called, and they're like, yeah, his class is tonight. And I'm like, well, I have to go now. So I got there, and the teacher's name is Jose. And the course title is called The Art of Spiritual Warfare, which is completely misleading because they talk about all sorts of different things, not necessarily warfare in a way that people would consider fighting kind of, you know what I mean? Is not, I consider it, after taking the class, more of a higher level advanced studies spiritual topics course. And I think he has it every other week through the fall, September, October, something like that. Well, this class, he discussed the idea of a parallel reincarnation cycle. And if you aren't familiar with reincarnation, this is going to be way above your pay grade. Honestly, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If you are familiar with reincarnation, this is the perspective that time, of course, isn't linear, it is circular. So we are indeed living all of our lives at the same time through parallel universes. And if that didn't make your brain explode, obviously, they've almost proven that there are parallel universes. And our higher selves, or more commonly referred to as our soul, is learning different lessons through different lifetimes. So when we talk about past lives that are discoverable through a number of ways, mine, of course, my favorite was the hypnotherapy. But there are lots of other ways to find your other past lives. He discussed the idea that instead of considering them our past lives, they would be our current lives on a circular timeline versus a linear timeline. Very interesting. Very interesting. He gave us a little diagram, but it's basically a lot of circles, and I don't want to show it because I didn't ask him permission to show it. But it is an interesting class, very much so. The other thing that he talked about that is pretty basic is your chakras, okay? Healing yourself through the chakras, and the different idea of your higher chakras versus your lower chakras, and how each chakra has a companion chakra, which not everybody agrees with. So it was an interesting layout, maybe something a little bit different than what you would usually see. That makes sense? I think so. It was actually very funny. There was one lady that I recognized from the ladies discussion group. I said hello, and I changed my hair, so I don't think she recognized me. I'm not sure. I talked with her after the class or whatever, and she had brought up at the break that she was afraid to come to this class too because the other classes run by the ladies were a little cliquey, and no one really spoke highly of this gentleman. And I do believe it is a little bit of sexism. I do. I don't consider myself a sexist, but I find often that gentlemen in spiritual paths aren't looking for spiritual stuff, if you know what I mean. But this guy is really, really the real deal. I enjoyed hearing him speak, and I'm hoping to go back. I think with my schedule I can catch one more class, and then I won't be able to for a few more months. It was good. It was good. I'm really glad that I got out. I thought it was an hour. So I was kind of surprised when he was like, okay, let's take a break and then we'll come back. And I'm like, oh, it's not over yet? He's like, no, it's 2 hours. And I was like, oh, I wish I'd brought a snack. I was mad because I didn't bring a snack. Yeah, no. It was funny, but he called me out during the break. I guess everyone went out to smoke. Yeah, smoke. Spiritual people still smoke. And he was like, why are you here? And I'm like, what? He's like, you glow. Why are you here? You don't need this. And I was like, well, you know, I'm always open to learning something. I was like, you know, I guess I'm here for some reason, but I haven't figured out what it was yet. And I always end up being there when I'm supposed to be reminded of something. And one of the things that he had talked about specifically was meditating. And I've been really bad about meditating lately. I really have. I'm confessing. I forgive myself, but I would like to get better about that. He was like, you know, do you have a question? Is there something specific that you're looking for? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. I know I'm supposed to be here, so I came. Like, that's what I told him. He was like, okay, well, you know, I'm glad to have you. He's like, you bring great energy. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, I really appreciate it. And it's like, hopefully I'll bring some friends next time, you know? Pretty cool. Always nice people. I always meet nice people. And it's funny because these classes are free. And you think they would be, like, packed to the brim. But normally there's 4 or 5. The ladies' spiritual discussions was a little bigger. But the average class, 4 or 5 people. But still, it's free. It's free. Hello. Yeah. So, there's that. But I really enjoyed myself. And Jose, Turning Wheel, Baltimore, Maryland. His is, the last class that is being taught until fall. The owners may or may not continue to offer classes. Alita, the other main teacher, one that does a discussion group, is starting to hold private classes once she can find a place to do it. I enjoyed her. Clicky, but she's a good teacher. Lots of information. The other thing I really enjoyed about Jose is he really emphasized the idea of connection with our guides and how that helps us so much in going through life, having that support team and access to that support team. And I really liked that he brought that up a lot. Obviously, the other people that were in the group were more at the beginning stages or at the moderate stages of their spiritual discovery and spiritual growth and spiritual learning. Typically, when people dive into spirituality, they pick one topic. So they'll get really interested in Buddhist stuff, or they'll get really interested in, I don't know, the Druids, right? Well, there's a whole big, giant field of other spiritual things. So it's nice that they have these classes to kind of introduce new topics. And then if you're interested in it, you know, you can follow up with different stuff. I've never been big into the chakras. I don't know why. I probably should be a healer. I probably should learn more about it. I know the basics. But there's always something new to learn. Always. Always, always, always. Yep. I'm taking a nap. All right. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the class. And I encourage you to find local classes. Almost always the community colleges hold non-credit courses. Now, of course, it depends on your community. I've submitted to teach like classes several times and never heard back. So, you know. But again, look for your local resources, and if it's free, yeah, go, meet new friends, right? I mean, why not? Anyhow, I love you guys. Thanks for sharing. I'll talk to you later. Bye.